Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this HP Envy X360M convertible model 15m- let's see here, this is a dr1012dx. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, as you can see, there's only one screw visible here. So most likely the rest are all hidden underneath these rubber strips here. So we're going to have to pull these rubber strips out, okay? So just get underneath them. I just use my fingernails. You can use whatever you want. You can use a needle. Actually, a needle might be easier. Let's try that. Okay, let's try and get underneath there with a needle. All right, let's see here. Is there going to be hidden screws under here? Let's hope so. Let's peel this up, and yes, there are. Okay, so let's peel this thing up. All right, I'm doing this with a broken clavicle, so my arm just moving it around hurts. So if I can do this, then you should be able to do this. Just make sure to follow the video. All right, so there we go. All right, we're going to remove the rubber strip from the bottom as well, because there's no way there's only one screw there. Okay, so we're going to get underneath with the needle again. Okay, kind of get under there and peel this up. And yep, there's two screws under this side as well. All right. Okay, we're gonna put those rubber strips aside. Okay, so to open this, it looks like we're gonna need a PH1 or JAS1 screwdriver, and we're gonna remove all these screws. We're also going to need a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver for the bottom here. Keep the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. If you do mix them up, you can actually damage your computer, so it's very important. If you can, the way I do that, I put them with the flat side down, and I'll just put them in the pattern I remove them. So as you can see, there's 5 screws along the top, so I'll put a row of 5 screws, and then I'll put a row of 2 screws, and then I'll put 1 screw in the middle for that. All right, so that's how I kind of keep track of it. All right, if this video helps you guys, remember to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can also work on their devices and upgrade and repair them. Right, so this laptop is having a noisy fan, and that's caused by bad grease, or usually what I find is if the computer's in a very like fine dust, or sometimes it's from moisture. If you boil a lot of fluids, or like making soups or something, if you're cooking foods where you're boiling a lot of liquids for a long time, or if you, I don't know, if somebody brings it in their shower or something, their bathroom, then all that steam and stuff, humidity, can get into the bearings, and the grease will get, or I guess it's not really bearings, it's just like a sleeve, but the grease will get all gunky because of the moisture, and that's usually what I find messes up these things. All right, so anyways, let's go ahead and try and pull this cover off. I'm going to start and try with the back using a suction cup. All right, and it looks like the back kind of comes up here. All right, so what you can do, you can also use 2 pieces of tape and have them like flat here and then meet towards the middle like that, and you can use that as a pull tab. So if you don't have a suction cup, you can do that. All right, this back part seems to come up pretty easily, so hopefully the sides will come out easily as well. Right now it's looking like the sides are kind of difficult to remove. This side seems to come out easier, so let's work our way from this side. Kind of, I'm using my fingernail along the edge. You can use a plastic pry tool. All right, and then as we go along, as you can see, the front is coming out as well. Kind of wiggle it and lift it over. You don't want to just lift too quick because you might snap some stuff off, so kind of just wiggle it as you kind of move it around. As you can see, most is coming out except for this one corner for some reason. I don't know why this corner's stuck. There we go. And there's the bottom cover. Okay, there's only one fan here, so it looks like they have a spot for a second fan, but that's only if they have a dedicated graphics card. So here you can see they have a spot for the graphics card, but it doesn't have one installed. These are soldered to the board, same with the CPU, so you can't really replace them. All right, hopefully the fan will come out without me having to take the entire heatsink out. Otherwise I have to redo all the thermal paste. There are 3 screws here. There's a M.2 SSD here. I'm not sure if it's PCIe NVMe or SATA. Let me see if the computer is on right now. Okay, it looks like it's off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually remove the battery first, just to make it safer to work on. You don't have to do this if you're just working on the fan, but to be safe, it's a good idea. All right. A lot of people ask me if they have to do something to do another step. I mean, you don't have to if you can figure out a way to do it without, but just know that the way I'm doing it is to make it safer and prevent accidental damage to the computer. Okay, like the RAM, the SSD, all of that, as long as your computer's off, you can swap them without any issues. But to be safe, since the battery is not too difficult to remove, just 4 PH1 or JAS1 screws. And then after that, you can just lift this piece up. Well, actually, there's another screw here, sorry, 5 screws. Okay, but yeah, that's not many screws to remove, and it's not too difficult to do, so might as well just do it. All right, get those 5 screws out, and then usually we can go ahead and lift the battery up just like that. Okay, pull it up. There's actually another screw down here, sorry, 6 screws. All right. Okay, so get those 6 screws out and then lift that up, and we should be able to pull this out. Here you can see the battery model number here is SA04XL. You'll want to check yours because if your model has different stuff, you might have a different battery, you might have different components. If you have the same exact model number, then you can assume it's the same, but other than that, you kind of want to open yours and double check. All right, so here you can see there's a fingerprint sensor connection here. You got the connection to the controller up here, and there's also a little switch on there. It looks like that's the camera switch. So this board doubles as a camera switch and the fingerprint sensor. You got the touchpad connector here, keyboard connector here, keyboard backlight connector here. You got this cable here for the SD card slot and the headphone jack. All right, and also one thing to do after you remove the battery, you want to press and hold the power button for 10 to 15 seconds. This will drain any power on the motherboard to prevent risk of shorting anything out if you work on it and then you accidentally drop something conductive on the board. All right, so it'll greatly reduce the risk, and there's a lot less chance that you'll damage anything. All right, so okay, so now let's go ahead and remove the SSD. I'm pretty sure it's a PCIe NVMe, but let's take it out just to be sure. All right, 1 screw, the SSD pops up like that, and yes, it's PCIe NVMe. It's an Intel Optane SSD. If you're wondering how to remove this, just grab the SSD and kind of just pull it out, but it has this little sleeve here that you can kind of take out. All right, this SSD, let's see if it even says here, this is only 32 gigs. Where's the rest of the SSD? That's really weird. So there's only 32 gigs of this Intel Optane memory according to this stick of whatever. All right, there's some dust on there. Let me make sure to get that out. Okay, so I'm doubting this laptop only has 32 gigs. That'll be really strange, unless this is like one of those netbook ones that are super cheap. So I don't know where they're storing extra storage. It might be integrated onto the motherboard because the gap under here is so thin. I don't think that they are keeping an extra storage under there. Anyways, I'm going to clean this fan up just because it's dusty. All right, let me see if I can make it so you can hear the sound. So I'm going to clean this out. And actually, with the dust cleaned off, I'm not hearing the sound it was making. So I guess the fan has to be spinning super fast. So there's some dirt on this. All right. So I'm not seeing another hard drive or SSD on here. So I don't know where it would store the memory. Let's go ahead and open up the RAM slot. You have a connector here for the USB port and the power button. So if you break the power button somehow, you can actually replace this board separately. You got this connector here for the speaker. I believe both speakers are connected into one because I do see 4 wires there. Then you got the LCD LVDS connector. If you mess with this, make sure that you disconnect the battery and press and hold the power button before doing that. And then I believe this is the touchscreen connector, and you got the wireless card under here. Actually, since there's the wireless card under there, it might be possible that they have an SSD underneath the entire board, but I'm not too sure. I'm not going to remove it. One thing you could do, I'm not sure if this HP spare part number is for the motherboard, but it's L63886-601. If that's the motherboard model number, you can actually look it up online, see if you can find pictures of the back. And then if there are SSD slots or something, then you can kind of see. All right, we're going to open up the RAM cover here. So I'm going underneath using my fingernail, and then we're just popping this up on the corner edge. All right, just like that. We're going to lift all of this up, okay, both sides, but I am going to leave the top portion out. So there's 2 sticks of RAM. To get the RAM out, just pull these 2 tabs to the side, okay. All right, and then you can pull the stick out. So the RAM is 8 gigs PC4 2666V. So yeah, if you want to upgrade the RAM, make sure it's PC4 2666V, and you can get any size sticks you want. You can get 2 16 gig sticks if you want, 2 32 gig sticks. It should be fine as long as you make sure the other numbers match. All right, we're gonna put this back together. Just get the little clips lined back up. Okay. Might be a little tricky with that adhesive strip thingy holding it somewhat. Okay, I might have to work on it from this side so I can make sure these clips go in. Okay, those look good. There we go. And then just snap it all down into place. There we go. All right, let's see if we can remove the fan, because that's what the customer brought this in for. I see 3 screws. We're going to remove those 3 screws. Okay. And hopefully we can remove that without taking out the whole heatsink. It looks like the heatsink moves separately from the fan, so that's a good sign. This fan looks like we do have to cut the some plastic bits off to get it apart. So yeah. All right, so let's see now. Hopefully the fan will come out. It's kind of, oh yeah, okay, so the fan comes out without having to take the whole motherboard out. That's good. And then to remove the fan connector, you might want to actually pop out the RAM cover a little bit so you have room. Okay, and then what I do is, well, I guess I'll leave that there because it has the little clips in the way. I'm going to just use this little tool to help make it easier. Normally I'll just use both my fingernails, but we're going to go on both sides. And then let's move this fan out of the way. Okay, and then what you do is you kind of walk the connector out. So let me zoom in and see if I can show this. Okay, so I just go left to right, applying pressure, wiggling the connector. It's harder to do this with this tool. Let's see. But basically just walk the connector like this. Keep going, and eventually this thing will pop out, okay? So just like that. Just keep walking it out. It's harder to do this with the tools than with my fingernails. All right. Well, I'll keep trying. And you want to use a plastic tool because you don't want to accidentally scrape the board. Okay, keep wiggling it and pulling at the same time, and eventually it comes out. There we go. All right, so we're going to set the whole computer aside now because we're going to work on the fan. So the fan here, it has these little plastic pieces that they melt over the top to hold it into place. We're going to basically cut those off, and then let's see here if I can, oh yeah, I definitely feel the roughness. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but I definitely feel it. It's making like some clickety clackety. All right, so we're going to cut these little raised mounts off with a razor blade. Okay, so I just got a razor blade like this, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut these raised parts off. Okay, so just keep sawing at it like this with a razor blade, and there we go. And people are going to say like that I shouldn't be cutting towards myself, but it's so much more difficult to cut away. All right, so as long as you're kind of slicing it slowly and not like just like putting a lot of pressure, you should be okay. Just slowly slice the plastic off, just like that. All right, this one's going to be a little difficult because it's in a little groove, so we're going to do that one last. And then let's go ahead and cut this one as well. I'm going to keep my thumb away from the area that I'm cutting just to be safe. Okay, slowly slice it away. And then the last bit. Okay, so let's see here. Are these, okay, this one I need to cut a little bit more. I want to double check and make sure that the plastic is not like bigger than the metal hole area. Okay, so we got all of those. Now we're just gonna have to find a way to cut this one that's in the groove. Hopefully I can cut it at this angle like this. Okay, looks like it's working. There we go. Okay, so now that we got all those little plastic tabs cut out, you can throw those away. We're gonna replace those tabs with just some pieces of tape. Okay, now that we got all of those out, we'll set that aside, and then we should be able to separate the metal plate. There we go. Just pull it apart, and there we go. I'm gonna clean the dust out of here with a toothbrush. Okay, you want to be gentle with these. You don't want to bend the metal casing of the fan, otherwise it'll hit the fan propellers and cause problems. All right, let's see if we can pull these propellers off. And it looks like we can't. So this is going to be one of those difficult ones. I don't think we can add grease from the bottom here. Let's see here. The fan spare part number is L53541-001. Okay. I'm going to peel up the sticker just to see what it looks like underneath. Most likely we're going to end up having to replace this fan. So the customer might not be able to. I'm going to ask them if they want me to take the risk. I can try and pop the propellers out. And yeah, we'll go from there. If they say okay, if they say no, then they're probably going to want to keep using the computer, because if I try and do it and it breaks, so this one is sealed with a metal, so we can't even drill through that one, or we probably can, but it'll be way too difficult. But anyways, we're going to use some tools to see if I can pop this out if the customer is okay with that. If they're not okay with that, then we're going to have to order a new fan, because their computer right now, they can use it. It's just super, super noisy. But yeah, let me try one thing real quick first. I'm going to try with this. And no, I don't think that's going to work. So I'm going to use a combination of stuff. I'm going to use like these tools in here. If I can. Oh no, this one's too thick. Okay, so maybe I can put this one. No. So I'm gonna have to use like some cut up like credit card to use as a shim, and then that way I can push these through. So let me see what the customer wants me to do, and I will be back. All right, so the customer said go for it. So here's what we're going to do. You can take like old credit cards. I'm going to use like this T-Mobile SIM card thingy. But basically what we're going to do is cut out little shims so that it's about the same size as the fan here. And then that way we can use that to spread the force when we try and push on the back of it with some screws or screwdriver bits. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut this like that. Okay. And then we're going to kind of just stick these in there. So let's cut it in half. I probably should cut them thicker. This is probably not that great. Oops. Okay. I'm going to cut like thicker pieces and see if it helps. So let's cut it like maybe like this. Okay. We'll cut this in half. All right, and then we're just gonna shove these in here. So let's see if we can get them in just like that. Might help to maybe cut some rounded pieces into it just so it can curve around with the fan. So let's try and do that. Getting a bunch of cut up junk everywhere. So we're just going to cut some rounded notches in here. Okay, might make it a little bit better. Let's do one more thicker piece as well. Okay, cut that in half as well. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and use these as little weight distributors. Okay. Because these fins are so spread out, if you don't do this, there's a good chance that you'll actually end up just damaging the fan. Okay. So I'm going to try and put this over here. Even with these, there's a good chance the fan might get damaged, so we'll see. Hopefully this will work out. Let's Let's get the second one. Oh, this one is too big. So let's put the thinnest one over to the outside here because it's easier to fit. All right, just like this. Use the screwdriver to help guide it. All right, so like that. Hopefully you guys get the idea. Get the other one, just like this. Probably should put something sticky to keep them in place. But there we go. So we're gonna use these to help spread the pressure. And basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna get a bunch of these screwdriver bits to kind of push on the back here, okay? And I don't think it'll fit through this way, will it? Yeah, it will. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this magnet tray to help do this. So let's get like the larger bits. So I'm going to get like this, okay? And then basically I'm going to use this on 3 spots, maybe 4 spots, to try and help push through, okay? So we're going to get these bits here. I'm going to line them up. The hardest part is getting these all lined up in a way that that it's gonna, let me get these rubber things out, that it's gonna push through the bottom, okay? So you want to look from the bottom, get it all lined up. Okay, so again, this is the hardest part, just making sure that you get them all lined up. Preferably you'd want to push through the bigger spots, but that's not going to work right, so we're going to try and do it there, okay? All right, and the way I do this is I kind of have to look from the bottom, so I don't know if I'll be able to get this on camera, but I'll see what I can do. I have to get these to kind of stay in place. Okay, so basically you look, ow, this is hurting my broken clavicle, but look from the bottom, get these things lined up, and there we go. Oops, I knocked them all over. Okay, so, but that's basically what you want to do. I need to get this lined up again. Okay, so you want to look from the bottom. Maybe there's a way to make a tool for this, but for now, this is how I'm doing it. Okay, get them all lined up. There we go. I dropped it. I had all of them except, and then one fell over. Okay. So this, again, this is the hardest part, is just making sure you get them all lined up. Okay. Let's try it again. Ah, dang it. This is kind of tough. But if this works, then we get to repair the fan right away, and we don't need to buy a replacement. So hopefully this will work, and hopefully I'm not just wasting a bunch of time. You want to make sure that you don't accidentally push on the wire. Okay, I think I have to actually move one slightly out. Dang it. So yeah, this is the hardest part, is getting it lined up. Let me try using with the rounded ones, actually. They might work better. So I'm going to try with these rounded ones. Maybe they'll stand up a little bit better, not fall over so easily. I don't know if that's the same height, hopefully. Okay. Okay, so we're going to try with these rounded bottoms. Alright, let's get this lined up here. Sorry guys, I know this is kind of like tedious, but hopefully it's going to work in the end. I've done this on a few before. I need to find a better way to do this. Maybe design a tool where I can pull it instead of push through the bottom. If anyone knows a way to do that, or can design a tool for me, then that'd be kind of awesome. But let's see here. Okay. Okay, so it's always difficult because they're not completely lined up right. But sometimes what you can do is you can get it in like that, and then you can line it up, and then you can push that into place. So I think it's good. Let's see here. So that one's good, and that's good. Okay, so now you can see like we're getting pressure on all three. Hopefully we're not going to break the propellers. Oops. Did it fall over? Okay, so there. Make sure that this is actually, is that not in? Okay, get that lined up. There we go. Hopefully this isn't pushing on a wire. That might be pushing on the wire, so let me make sure. Okay, get that all lined up. There we go. And let's try and push this down evenly. There we go. So hopefully that's good. We pop the thing out. It looks like there's a centerpiece that's missing. That's so weird. Let's see, hopefully it's not. Okay, so we're gonna set this aside now. That's weird. I've never had my ringtone go through my recording before like that. So whatever Google's updating, it's screwing things up. Okay. All right, so we're done. We can toss out the T-Mobile card things. So here we go. Here you can see the shaft here is actually pretty thick compared to other fans I've worked on before. I'm gonna brush the dust off the fan. Okay, and then what you wanna do is take a needle and get some motor oil or whatever's good bearing oil. I just use Mobil 1 synthetic oil. Okay, and then what I do is I'll tip it sideways, get some oil on the needle, and then I'll get it into this bearing or the sleeve area. Okay, just like that. All right, fill up that sleeve with nice, clean, fresh oil. Okay. That's all it takes. All right. I don't know, I have a customer calling, so I better take that soon. All right, I put a little bit too much, so I'm just gonna use a paper towel and kind of soak up some of it. There we go. And then, if you want, you can clean off the old one. There's a little bit of dirt in there, so it's good to actually clean off that old grease. Okay, then we'll get this fan in. We're going to spin it around a little before we push it down all the way. Okay, just like that. Lift the propellers back out. You can go ahead and clean it a little bit again. Okay, here you can see the fresh oil. All right, and then we're going to push this down and we're going to click it into place. Just squeeze both pieces, make sure. There we go, it clicked into place. Here you can see the fan spins. And now, if you spin it, it spins very nicely. I don't feel any of the rattling like before. Okay, so that should be good. Let's reassemble the fan. So just get the little protrusions lined up. All right, just like that. And it kind of holds itself together, but you do want to add some tape just to make sure it holds really well. So let me get some tape real quick. Okay, you want a tape that's kind of thin and not like too stiff. So this kind of clear, cheaper packaging tape, the expensive kind is too thick. So this kind is like nice and thin, that's what you want. Okay, and then you just cut the tape like that. So we have a thing of tape like this, and what we're going to do is cut small strips off of this. Okay, and then just take the strips and put them close to where you have the where you have those plastic extrusions. All right, and just wrap it over both ends like this. So hopefully you can see that. I just wrapped the tape over both sides, and we're going to do that all the way around the fan just to keep it from separating. All right, so it doesn't really need too much, just get it all around. All right, Oops, sorry, I'm going off camera. But just get it all around the fan. I had a customer call, so I need to hurry up with this so I can return the laptop. Okay. Get that in. Wrap that, oops, sorry. Wrap that around. Let me zoom out so you can actually see more. So we can toss this stuff aside. Got too much junk all over my desk right now. Okay. Alright, just like that. And go ahead and cut up some more pieces. We're just going to keep working our way around until we get all the fan kind of taped into place. There we go. Wrap that around as well. We probably only need like one more piece. Okay. And we'll stick this on the center here. Okay, wrap that around. And then we'll see if we can get a thin one there. Okay, and we'll get that there. All right, and there we go. So we got the fan all secured back together. It won't fall apart. Okay, and now let's go ahead and put the computer back together, and we should be good to go. All right, so we'll set all this junk aside. Okay. All right, let's take the computer back. Probably zoom back out a little bit. All right, there's some dust here, so let's clean that off because we got this open already. All right, let's blow the dust out here. Okay, so let's go ahead, put the fan back in, line up the connector, right, pinch the two pieces together. There we go. Drop the fan back into place. Get the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver and put these screws back on. Okay. Just like this. I don't know why this back screw is having a little bit of trouble going in all the way, so I'm going to have to double check what's going on with that. Let's take this screw back out. Is it not? It is lined up, so that's kind of weird. All right, tighten that screw back in. Why does this screw not want to go in all the way? That's very weird. They mix something up. Okay, this screw's fine. I don't know why this one screw is messed up or something. Okay, let's try and put this one down here. Hopefully it will be okay. Okay, I don't know why it just doesn't like that one screw mount. There we go. Okay, so now we got the fan back in place. It spins a lot better before. You know the fan is good when you spin it. Let me zoom in. So when you spin the fan, and then it kind of wiggles at the very end, like that. That's how you know the fan, the grease is good. Okay, so let's zoom back out. We're gonna put back the battery and then put back the bottom cover, and we should be good to go. All right, so battery here. Line up the bottom parts. I like to line up these little tabs down here. There's the little extruded pieces on the bottom corners, and then go ahead and push that down. All right, let's put back the 6 battery screws, not 4, there's 6. All right, a lot of times after removing the battery, we are going to likely have to plug it back in. The BIOS is going to be reset. That's normal. Okay. All right. Last screw. Okay, now let's go ahead and put the bottom cover back on. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Okay, so the bottom cover, just get everything lined up and do the opposite of before. We're going to put the bottom side in first. Okay, just like that. You might have to kind of wiggle it to get it to go in right, because there are these little clips here. Okay. All right. Get that in, and then go ahead and clip up the sides. All right. Oh, actually, let's do it like before. So let's pop this back out, if it does pop back out. There we go. So before it was like the left side was in first, so let's go ahead and get that in first to make it easier. And then let's work our way over the bottom and then up the side here, and then clip the back into place just like that. You can push the center, but it looks like it's all clipped good. All right, let's go ahead and put the PH1 or JAS1 screws first, since we already have that screwdriver out. Bottom two here. Okay. All right, let's put the rubber strip back into place. So to do that, get the bottom lined up first. Okay, and slowly work our way over. Once you get part of it in, you want to put the other side in to make sure that it's all lined up. And actually, there's plenty, so it's not going to be overstretched. So let's go ahead and get this all lined up, push that in, work our way over to the edge, and there we go. All right, so that's good. Let's go ahead and put the 5 screws at the top. Just like this. Oops. That's how you know you have the right size screwdriver, if the screwdriver bit gets stuck in the screw. Okay. All right, last screw in here. And then let's put the rubber piece in. Okay, line up the edge. That in. Okay, and then work our way over slowly, making sure that it's all lined up. Just like that. You don't want to stretch the rubber piece out while you're doing this. Okay, and there we go. Perfect fit. And now we'll get the last screw, which is the Torx T5 screw. All right, then let's power it up and make sure everything is good. There we go. Flip this thing back over. Ow. Okay. And let's see if it powers on without having to do any plugging in or anything like that. So we'll power it on. Power button's here. And so far nothing on the screen. Give it a second. A lot of times after you pull the thing out, it's going to take a little while, but it looks like I have to plug it in because nothing is coming on the screen. So let me plug in the charger real quick. Okay. Plug in the charger. Make sure the charge light comes on, good, and then let's power it up. Is it powering on? It's super quiet. I'm not hearing anything at all. I hope I didn't leave the RAM not connected 100%. That's one reason why the screen wouldn't turn on. And if that's the case, I'm going to have to take it all apart again. All right, I do see the power light is on the power button. So I'm going to give it a few more seconds. It could be that it's doing a RAM, not RAM, but the BIOS or CMOS initialization. Let's see, is the caps lock? Oh no, okay, the caps lock is blinking, so that means it is the RAM. So I'm gonna turn this back off, and then we're gonna go ahead. All right, sorry about that, customer called. So again, we're going to take it back apart. It looks like the RAM, I didn't have it seated properly, so that sucks because I put it all back together already. But yeah, you're welcome to just fast forward over all of this stuff. But yep. All right, we're just gonna completely take it all apart again. Okay, let's go ahead and get all of this back apart. Most likely just loose RAM. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. I only moved one of the sticks of RAM, so hopefully it's just that. This time I'm going to test it before I put all the screws and everything back into place. Okay. Right, and then the T5 screw. Ow. Okay, take that out. All right, and then let's go ahead and remove the bottom first again. Oops. We're going to use the suction cup to make it easy. There we go. Work our way down the right side. There we go. Wiggle it, lift it back up. Okay, this side's stuck again. There we go. All right, let's check this stick of RAM. Okay, lift this all out of the way. There we go. Okay, pop that stick of RAM out. Sometimes it helps to clean the connectors like this. There might have been dust that got in. All right, let's go ahead and put this back in. Make sure you press it against the entire thing. Flip this back over. Again, to be safe, you can remove the battery. It does make it safer to work on. Let's clip this all back into place. All right, I'm gonna test it right now before putting everything back together. Push the power button. Okay. Let's see if the caps lock starts blinking or if the thing is gonna just turn on. I think the power button light is on. Yeah, the power button light is on. I don't see the caps lock light blinking yet, so hopefully it's, there you go. So this is what I meant. It goes to the BIOS CMOS setup. And since it's working now, I'm just gonna put it all back together. Okay, you guys saw this process. Again, you can skip over if you want. I'm gonna put the left side in first. Basically reverse of what we did to take it out. Bottom side in now. And then clip in all the right hand side. Clip in the top. Make sure everything's good. All right. Then we're gonna go ahead and put the T5 screw in first, just because we have that already on here. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and put back all the PH1, JS1 screws. My customers are, some people are here to see the kittens. All right, get those two screws in, put the rubber piece back on. All right, get that all lined up. Slowly work your way over. There we go. Get the last 5 screws in, and then I'll show you what to do when you get that CMOS setup screen. Usually you can just continue and leave it, but you will want to double check the date and time. Set the date and time back to the correct date and time. If you don't, then you'll have some issues with like internet. The internet will tell you there's some security certificate warnings or something doesn't match, things like that. But yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get the last few screws in. Okay, get those clips back in. And last screw. All right, there we go. Put this rubber piece back on as well. There we go. All right, there we go. Let's flip it back over, and it should be still on the BIOS CMOS warning screen. Oh, nope. Okay, it skipped it already. So you can see it says Sunday, June 13th, and I think that's actually right. So everything looks good, and we should be good to go. All right, so again, hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like, subscribe, share my channel with others. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.